months away.
It's dropped me like 5 or 6 times already tonight.
Okay.
There we go.
Awesome. Yay.
Oh, excellent. Right. Let me just make sure that.
Please do. Yeah, unless you're trying to. Just need to mute.
He said he was feeling under the weather, so he thought he'd stay at home.
Which adds even more to the irony of the adjusted time.
Is
Okay.
Zoom on the agenda, right? Cause I have to leave, but I'll fit in when I get.
The Zoom's on the agenda. We now have a quorum and we have all of the necessary entities here. So whoever would like to kick it off is more than welcome to do so.
Well, I was asked to facilitate today, so I can facilitate and call this meeting to order and take roll. Though I don't have people's names in front of me, so I will just go like this. Aaron.
Aaron Fitzgerald, Governing Council Member.
Okay.
Will Tracy, Director.
Jim McIntosh, Secretary.
Pete Rankin, Staff Representative.
Jackie Riley, Business Manager.
Tanya Rivers, GC member, and on Zoom.
Harry Brown, GC member.
Anyone else on Zoom? Any GC members or members of the public? Nope. Okay. Can I get a volunteer for the reading of the Aldo mission and vision?
I'm happy to read it.
Excellent, thank you.
The ALCS mission at Aldo Leopold Charter School, the human and natural environment serve as text and lab for learning through direct experience, inquiry, and stewardship. The ALCS vision, Aldo Leopold Charter School graduates will use the skills, perspectives, and information they gain at school to enhance their own lives and to advance social, economic, and environmental sustainability.
Thank you so much. We'll move on to a review of the agenda. Does everybody have the agenda in front of them? Harry, do you have the agenda online?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we'll just take a minute to review it, and when we're ready, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I move we accept the agenda as printed.
I second.
Excellent, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Any discussion? Discussion, do we do roll call votes? I can't remember. No, okay. All in favor of approving the agenda as written? Say
Aye.
Aye. Any abstentions? Any nays? Hearing none, agenda review. Approval of agenda passes. Motion passes, carries. Next we'll review the minutes from September 11th. I think there are printouts here, person. And Harry, do you have them?
I sure do. Thank you.
Great. When we're ready, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
And for the general public and the recording's sake, the minutes are available on the website.
Thank you.
I can't move in a second for the minutes since I wrote them.
Oh,
Okay.
so I can move, I can move to approve the minutes. I will, I do.
I'll
Okay.
second the motion.
Excellent. So we have a motion and a second to approve the September 11th minutes. Any discussion, any edits that we need to make to those minutes? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote on that all in favor of approving the minutes for September 11? Say so. Aye.
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 Excellent. Any nays? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Minutes are approved, September 11. Excellent. Next item on the agenda is public comments. Anyone at all? Public comments?
See, is anyone watching our?
Yeah, I don't think we still don't have anyone yet.
One watching. It's probably me.
Okay, so, hearing no public commenters revealing themselves, we'll move on, to the student council reports.
So when Serena joins us via Zoom,
Okay,
she will report on the
Okay.
student council.
great.
So we can circle back to that if we all,
Okay.
if there's no objections.
Yes, let's not forget to do that. Staff report?
Yes. From the middle school, I talked with Miss Cheney after school, and it seems like, the Camp Thunderbird went well. So that's quite a feat to pull off. First night out for a lot of people, or first night away from parents. And then, Mr. Tech asked me to, that there's a haunted house playing this weekend. Sounds like student council's been doing a lot of work for that. Sounds like a lot of fun. That'll happen, I believe it both Friday and Saturday.
And that's a fundraiser, right?
Yes.
Okay.
For drama club specifically.
And then, we took this, Serena, Ray and I took the seniors today out into the field to scout for restoration projects. It's something we haven't tried before. We're more in-depth focus on leadership this year. It's the seniors and juniors. We toured our 2 new sites this year, which is the Bayard, the town of village of Santa Clara. It's partnering with us. Be excited about that. So we'll have 1 crew there, 1 crew at San Vicente Farms. We've had a crew there for 4 or 5 years. And then a 3rd crew at the Rico Bird site outside of Sunhouse restoration. So, yeah, the seniors, they really had a lot of great ideas. I think it was good to get the ball rolling. We're gonna, staff meeting, discuss possibly doing that with juniors as well. So the seniors. Freshmen and sophomores. In terms of what's coming up, the Snow and Sojourn, November, that's the freshman trip. And of course, the 2 restoration days in November, scouted for. I believe that's all. Emailed out a photo to all staff of the seniors out in the field today. So are you guys on the?
No, the GC is mostly the all staff Microsoft or all staff Google.
Microsoft,
Microsoft.
yeah, the all staff.
How many restoration days are you doing during the academic?
We have 2 in November and then 2 in January. Then there's 2 days this year of presentations. Global Resources.
Mm.
or Global
GRC.
GRC, I know it by the
Global
GRC.
Resource Center.
That'll be,
In February, okay. Thank you.
then I suppose if you guys wanted me to, I could give committee reports for 2 of the.
Yeah, please do.
So for the policy committee, at our meeting last month, a lot of the meeting had to do with, organizing our policies, which has been a perennial focus this committee, 10 years or so. clarify that. And then, also a big topic of discussion was the moving to add a D option to the grading scale. So that's gonna go forward. The policy committee.
There's
Yeah.
not currently an option to receive a D here, is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
right now, and so the, the arguments pro and con, that just full disclosure, I'm against that change, but, the committee voted to recommend that change. That you guys are against it.
Was there a big staff meeting discussion about it before policy or?
There have been a lot of discussions over the years.
Yeah.
Many, as
Yeah.
you remember, it's good. And then in terms of the risk management committee, continuing to work on updating the safe school plan. We have our drills scheduled for the year. We started discussing the Mexico trip, which is one of the riskiest trips we do.
Have you had any of your drills yet this year?
Yeah, we've had 2 fire drills.
Three fire drills, yeah.
And then stage 1 reunification drill. And then shelter in place for that.
Are you guys required to do monthly fire drills?
It's not necessarily monthly, it's you have to have a certain number by a certain
No.
day.
Okay.
And if you, I did pull up there's the document that was created at the policy committee meeting, if you wanna check that out.
Okay.
It's pretty, you can imagine the theory is pretty simple.
So a D would be what percentage? Sorry, maybe it's.
So this is the current,
Okay.
and then I'll scroll down, and this is the
I see.
proposed adjustments. And since it did pass policy committee, it's not an action item on this agenda. It can be the next one. If Harry has any strong thoughts, it could be on this one. My biggest consideration for the modification of the grading scale is the timing and the implementation of that, of which I would not be in support of anything sooner than next year. For just functional, operational reasons. And it would have to
Oh.
be a 6 through 12. Harry, please interject.
No, just a question. Would we phase it in the way we phased in new graduation requirements? I don't think we need to, but you could make an argument that would be the appropriate thing to do.
I would recommend just launching it off at fall 2026. I think is my thought on that. Pete, as the lone naysayer of the D, do you have any differing opinions on the implementation of this?
Why is Pete the lone naysayer?
Speak for it, as I'm against it.
But you're not alone.
Harry's also, yeah.
So, yeah, it's a topic around which there is disagreement. Obviously, to honor democracy, and I think that's the most important thing. And so right now, the majority is to change it.
Did you take a staff poll, or is this just coming from the policy committee? Is the policy committee the democratic body or the whole?
Was a staff poll last year? I could, if I had my computer.
The high school is the question mark for me on the staff poll. The middle school unanimously voted to have Ds implemented,
Right.
and that can be found in one of the middle school meeting minutes. It was an in-person vote rather than, a survey of some sort. High school is, there might be more that are naysayers to the D.
I'm disinclined to meddle with a staff decision. As a board member, I would support the staff, even if I disagree with it, unless it was some profound moral issue, and this isn't. But I would like to make sure, just out of due diligence that the staff really does support this. And if not reaching full consensus, at least the staff comes to some kind of understanding where they can live with it and people aren't.
Well, and that's why I asked the question
Yeah.
is because, you know, if you want to get something done, you can be the loud one in the room and it feels like everybody agrees with you. So I don't know the makeup of the policy committee, right? It could be four people who really want the D and everybody else is against it, but couldn't sit on policy committee for some reason. Do you see what I mean? So I don't, like, that's why I'm asking. So.
So I propose that we, now that it's gone to policy committee, but since this is seems to be a relatively contentious issue to a certain degree. At the next governing council meeting, we have, rather than a vote of hands or whatever, we have a data collection that can be presented. And then it can be an action item that's voted upon. So that the governing council has all of the data and you're not voting on something that,
Yeah.
just to provide a little bit more robustness to it. And we'll give people the chance in a non-open meeting to vote privately if they have a different opinion.
Yeah,
that
I
they
know.
don't wish.
For different, you know, governing structures or, you know, shared governance bodies, like when things are contentious or really important, you do a secret ballot vote.
Yeah.
Right, and so this might be, maybe mention that to staff, like, would we like to do a whole staff secret ballot vote? And then the box just sits somewhere and you just waltz by and put your thing in, or it's at a whole staff meeting and you put your thing in, and then we can even collect those at GC and count them here, and then it's not, you know, like we can.
Exciting.
Well, I'm just saying, we can be a part of the process to make sure that, I mean, I don't know how contentious it really is, right? But having been involved in other contentious things before, it helps to know that the person next to me is not gonna know how I voted. And if I decide not to vote, that's gonna be okay, that, you know, all of that stuff. And so sometimes if you, the offer to.
It doesn't have to be time consuming and it can give us some security in the decision.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever we can do to help to make sure that we get the.
Yeah, so I think that's good.
Harry, what do you think?
I love Tanya's idea. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Tanya. I also have a question, and that is whether there's a problem if we approve it for middle school, but not for high school. Is that a feasible option?
There's a topic that came up during the policy committee meeting, right, Pete? You recall that as well? I could pull up the policy,
The notes, I just updated the notes.
the note.
Meaning I didn't finish them until.
They're
in there.
The belief was that if we're going to do it, we're going to do it. And we should have that sort of continuity between 6 through 12 rather than you know, if a D is passing in middle school and then you go to high school and you have a 65% and you fail, that could be seen as fraught, perhaps.
I'm curious about the benefit of having it one way at one school and different in the other.
For me, it's a question of the overwhelming staff preference in middle school and the less overwhelming unclear preference in high school. I disagree that there would be any confusion. I think middle schoolers know that advancing to high school marks a new phase in their lives. They have a whole bequeathing ceremony that I don't think there'd be any confusion. That would be one of probably the first things that they would be told. So to me, that's the advantage. I don't want to squelch the middle school's perspective. It's also the case that credits toward graduation are not earned during middle school. And the grade really is just a heuristic device. It's nothing to do with verifying a student has mastered certain competencies.
It doesn't determine them moving on to high school,
No.
no matter what.
Well, I shouldn't speak for Will, but it hasn't in our experience. It's age that does that and maturity, right? Somebody could be not mature enough to move into high school.
Mhm.
So I think
Development.
to move forward on this item, let's have more clear data collection from all teachers in the school. And part of that is because this is not a time pressing issue we have. I don't intend to implement this in any near future, so let's not allocate more time now than is necessary on it. Whether maybe we have a anonymous survey and or you drop your name and how we can compare the two and have all the data possible. And then if I was on the governing council, I would feel better about voting on something that is, you know, as significant as changing how it breaks. That makes sense? That seemed like a fair,
Can I
please.
throw one more thing in there?
And Serena has her hand up too.
Oh, okay, okay. Is it worth getting, family input, parents input on this, or student input, or any of those other stakeholders?
I feel like I feel like faculty has a particular, I think they have a particular expertise, and I feel like that's
Okay.
within their scope of practice.
Perfect.
I do apologize for that, go.
Yeah, thanks, Pete.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you all.
You don't want to revisit the issue with this? See you.
Thanks, Pete. Appreciate your
Take care,
flexibility.
man.
Yeah, thank you. Okay,
Yeah, and
Serena,
Survey Monkey and Job Form also are ways to anonymously.
Yeah.
We did went a survey for Hannah a few years ago, and the high school voted that they wanted to also have Ds. So the data has been collected. Of course, it was probably last year, maybe the year before, but the data has been collected. I know I have an email somewhere with it, but I'd have to find it.
Yeah,
agree. Well, this is all those, so we'll do it again. We will reinvent the wheel again. The good news, I mean, I think one of the more significant pieces is that Harry or Jim or anyone who's seen this over some chunk of time, this is the first time that it's been approved by the policy committee. So then that's why I do want to have all of the pieces of data before we vote on something like that, but.
and it could be that this time around surveying actually is like, here's how we would do it,
Sure.
right? Like it has a little bit more, like, here's the document that shows where the D fits in, whereas before the survey might have been, do you want a D or not, right? So there's just a little bit more information. So I don't think it's reinventing the wheel. I think it's drilling down into the specifics of what the policy could look like.
You're right. I'm being too sarcastic to a
It's
certain
okay.
degree. That's my demeanor.
Okay. So, Serena's here. Shall we bump back up to student council report, at this time? Everybody okay with that?
I'm fine with that, yeah.
Okay, all right, perfect.
Okay, mine's very brief. The student rep couldn't make it today. So we did have senior sunrise last Thursday, I believe, and it was a pretty good success. We had the majority of the seniors were there, and they did like a yogurt bar, and it was a lot of fun. So they will be planning a senior sunset at the end of the year. Student council is also in the works of planning a spirit week for either next week or the following week. And they also are trying to arrange a dance pretty soon, within the next few weeks. I think that's all they've covered this past 2 weeks or so. So that's all. If anybody has any questions or thoughts.
Thanks for hanging around for that.
Yeah, of
Appreciate it.
course.
Thank you, Serena, and thank you for all of your work to facilitate the senior sunrise. I know that's obviously an early morning and there was a lot to go into that, so thank you. I see that
Yeah.
work.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you. And I don't know, did Pete talk about that we went out with the seniors today for the restoration? Yeah, that was a lot of fun today, and I think it was really worthwhile, and yeah, something maybe we should continue when getting sites in at the beginning of the year. So that was really fun. So, all right, that's all I have.
Thanks, Serena.
Okay, so student council report, staff report. So we did 2 committee reports, but I'm thinking that maybe we should go back up to the business manager report. And then we'll continue with committee reports when we get there.
I think that-
Sound good?
And Jackie, if you want to put anything on the screen,
Okay,
let me know.
got it.
The finance committee meeting did meet yesterday for our monthly meeting. We've been doing really good on actually meeting monthly. We went over a few of the reports, expenditures, revenues, the general ledger account that our balance that it shows is $675,537. We also have word that we are about to close our audit season. We were kind of on a crunch time there for a while. We had a little bit of a surprise because we were told we had until the end of the month, till October 31st, because we were gonna do it on Halloween. So I just assumed we had the whole month. And then he wrote back that following Friday saying that he needed everything in by last Friday. So that kind of
Yikes.
chopped our time by 2 weeks.
Hmm.
So we had to, we actually had to, reach out to Justine, our old business manager, to help us out. Because all this stuff is from like all they're doing, so of course they know the information way better than we. And they can respond better to a lot of the questions of why they did stuff. So just today I turned in the last of because you will turn in stuff and then they'll ask you, well, what do you mean by this? Can you turn in this? Can you turn this? And we started off with needing like 5 things on the last day. And then it went down to 2, and then it went back up to 5, and then now we're hopefully done. So we do have our exit meeting scheduled for November 12th at 12 o'clock. The invitations have been sent out for the Zoom meeting. Right now, we are in the middle of open enrollment for our NIMSIA for all the insurance. That is going on from October 1st through the 31st. So emails and reminders have gone out for any kind of changes. Anybody that wants to enroll in insurance can do that at the time.
Have you noticed big increases? Like their predictions of huge increases for many people across the country. Did the rates go up
It
significantly?
went 9%.
Okay.
So, for some, including myself, because my rate was prorated, so they don't go by the level of teaching, it goes by the category of how much you earn. So if somebody got an increase with the percentage of the state gave out, so then they got bumped the 9%. Plus they got bumped in the next category, which made their increase like really, 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 really high. So one of the options that I gave them also is maybe looking at to see how much, like, you know, some people don't think, they just think that they have to stay with that. We have high and low options for both the Blue Cross Blue Shield and Presbyterian, yeah. So last time we had also talked about the arrival of our new school bus. I did reach out to them. We anticipated at the end of October, but it does seem like probably November or December, but we're hoping that it will be this year. I did send out all the financial reports. Does anybody have any questions on those? Did go over them pretty thoroughly yesterday, I thought.
Anything in particular you need us to be aware of or look at this time around? Anything out of the ordinary?
We do have a few things that we're speculating, but I kind of don't want to like say it. Just
Okay.
because it's not
Okay,
a for sure thing.
for sure.
Just because. Are you feeling the same way, Harry, or what are you thinking?
Harry's optimistic.
Oops. Harry, you're
You're
muted.
Sorry, I'm also fuzzy in the head, but I think Will knows my position, and I'm not going to overstep what the administration wants.
I just like to talk because I believe in jinxing ourselves. So I don't like to talk about it until I know for sure and I have it in black and white.
Right.
So.
Sure. But as far as
So
like
ta-
any money out that we might
Like a
see
huge-
different this month, or any, something.
Tanya?
special. Yeah,
Yeah, I guess I would note some things besides the one I'm not supposed to mention for fear of jinxing. The report on fund balances by fund showed, when you take what we've encumbered and what we've already spent and subtract what revenue we're expecting in operational fund, it looks like we end the year with $1,200, which is almost nothing. And we all know there are going to be more expenses coming that aren't encumbered yet. So that looked pretty bad. But then we saw about $48,000 in out of school time fund that should add to that 1,200. So that puts us around 50,000. And then I remembered that our cash carryover is going to be 50 or 60,000 more than what we budgeted. So really, we're back up probably over 100,000, which made me feel much more comfortable with the current year.
You did, you'll also see in your financial documents, I have submitted a bar. And all that was, I don't know if you remember last week that we spoke about it, it's the Ed Fellows grant that we receive, and it's to pay for one of our EAs. We have been waiting for them to sign it so we can actually submit it to ED to put it in the budget. We did get that signature, and that should, with the approval of tonight's meeting, I will upload that budget into OPMS.
Okay.
On the negative side, Will mentioned that we're probably under budgeted for our school psychologist. So in my head, just kind of keeping a running score, it looks to me like we'll finish maybe with 75,000 minus expenses that haven't yet been encumbered. So just wanted to throw out the good and the bad.
Our school psychologist is pretty pricey, and that's just something that we can't get around. And I think we under budgeted only because our SPED director was remote. There was a few that I guess, from what I'm assuming, they had already graduated, but part of us helping them transition into the real world, we had to provide a couple of evaluations. So that was pretty pricey.
Just to clarify, you're talking about the budget, what you budgeted for this coming
For 25.
25, 26. So is she or he paid a salary, or is she, or are they paid per student, like per hour, per job?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, exactly.
So it's really hard to predict
It's
what it's going to
But
be.
we're hoping, we're hoping that it sticks around, because these are done like every so many years, 3 years, right? Because of what I believe. And if somebody would warn us like ahead of time, okay, like this is what's gonna happen, then we're a little bit more prepared with that budget. So.
Well, and don't you just sometimes have students who it comes up that they need an evaluation or that's identified and just can't
Yes.
plan for that?
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Or a new student comes in and it just
Some new students needed it, and it happened to work out where we had students that needed a re-evaluation due to the 3-year rule. And it's just really expensive.
And Aldo pays for that.
Yes.
Wow.
And there's the possibility that we can get reimbursement for it, but that remains to be seen. That's maybe a next governing council discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's interesting when you have a relatively high percentage of special education students, it seems, and maybe that money is sort of built into the allocation for them, but you're going to have greater expenses for psychological and education. Right?
Yeah.
But even if we get a reimbursement, it's never a wash. Like we're
Yeah.
never always paying a little bit more. Yeah.
Anything else for business manager report? Any other questions?
No, just the action item will be the bar, approval of the bar.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you. Director report.
All right, I'm gonna share my screen so all can see my lovely color scheme for this month. Okay, I'll try and keep it brief. Enrollment report, we have currently 187 students. We had 188 at the 40th day count. And we are following a relatively typical rate of student atrophy, which is at a lower percentage than the surrounding schools, which is kind of cool to see, but we are on track for our student enrollment. As Jackie said, audit is to be completed. We're done now, so we have our exit interview and we'll see how that all goes.
See.
Yes. I have to pause, quick question. Does anyone remember what the color was last time?
Yellow?
Purple.
Yeah.
Oh, that was my next guess.
Nice, Jim. That was fun. See, these little
Okay.
things, they add.
Oh, my.
You know,
I
Oh,
thought about
a
it when
good
I saw
color.
this one, I was like, man, I can remember this.
No, I went with-
Next time. Pop quizzes, I need it in the minutes.
Yeah,
I gotta keep my toes a little bit. Oh, with a nice salmon color.
Salmon.
Color.
Coral.
Ooh. Okay, facility updates. A lot going on there. I'm going to sort of keep the cards a little bit close. All I'll say is that we are Harry, myself, and the Aldo Foundation are engaged in negotiations for the acquisition of Jose Barrios. At this time, there are a significant number of considerations and factors involved in this, as my research has shown that what we are trying to do has never been done before. And so we are setting a precedent as we go through this process. And a lot of the legislation that supports this was created in 2024 also. So a lot of moving pieces there, but currently we are planning to meet on October 30th with representatives from the foundation, Harry, myself, some potential PCS&M, Public Charter School of New Mexico representation, and then Silver will have their school board president, Mr. Will Hawkins, and probably some other school board members as well, and we'll go to the next stage. Essentially, it's how much is it going to cost, is where we're at right now. Once we have that determined, then we will ensure that we go through all of the proper steps and all of the different government entities put their stamp of approval on it. But so far, we're continuing to move forward with that.
Will, what's your expectation for that meeting? Like, is something definitive going to be decided? Is this more like presenting what you'd like to see happen, a range of prices? I mean, what's the?
So I should fill you in.
Yeah.
Harry and I had a meeting with the president of Silver School Board and Mr. Will Hawkins earlier, but since the last governing council meeting, I can't remember the date exactly.
Okay.
And this is where we all sat down and sort of laid all the cards on the table and said, what is this going to look like? What are the options? I presented 4 different options from Aldo's end of what this would look like. Those 4 options were Aldo buying directly, Aldo engaging in an indefinite lease with Silver, Aldo entering a lease to own with Silver for an unknown duration of time, or the foundation paying for the building, buying it outright from Silver, and Aldo entering a lease to own with the foundation. So one of the pieces that has been determined for the most part is that we are currently going towards the foundation purchasing and Aldo leasing to own from the foundation, which seems to make the most sense. That was the sole intention of the creation of the foundation. And the public charter schools in New Mexico seem to believe that that will make the most sense. And it's a matter of acquiring the funding for the foundation to have that large sum of money to make it happen. And then Jackie, myself, and Harry working to ensure that we have the capital outlay funds to do the necessary improvements to meet the minimum occupancy standard and be able to pay the utilities and all the things each month that we will incur that now WNMU pays for, because we have essentially a net zero cost for us here at WNMU. I'm confident that it will work.
How is the price decided on what the foundation pays for that property or building? Is that the next?
That's where we're at. Is how much is the foundation essentially going to be?
Yeah, who decides that?
So the facility was appraised, and
Okay.
that information is publicly available. Jose Barrios was appraised by a third-party consultation group for $2,020,000. With Silver believes about $2 million in deferred maintenance. Our facilities folks think about 1.3 million in deferred maintenance. And so one option that we could do, and we have yet to do, is we could get our own appraisal on it. It could be, that's another item on the table. But it's a matter of the school board has to approve whatever cost it would be. And it has to be most likely the number will be something that I am uncomfortable with and something that Will Hawkins is uncomfortable with. I think that's how these things kind of go.
Yeah.
But it's not
Okay.
going to be done for free. And yeah, hopefully, does that answer the?
Yeah, and is it complicated because of it being a public school currently and like the property? And so then who paid for it originally, or the Silver schools, they didn't pay to lease or own it, they paid utilities, right? But wasn't, but because.
Yes.
I didn't understand that, Aaron.
I was just curious about kind of what makes this complicated.
Ah, I-
guess.
yeah, I'm not sure I would use the word complicated. I would use the word challenging because it's a negotiation.
Yeah,
They have every legal right, and some might even argue some moral obligation to let us use it for nothing. They did indeed pay for it. They were helped by the state to pay for it, and they have gotten many decades of use out of it. Their appraisal says it's worth 2 million, but if you look at depreciated value as a tax accountant, you would say it's fully depreciated. It's been there for so long. So there's an argument to be made that transfer costs should be 0 or significantly lower than 2 million. But the school board of Silver, they have a fiduciary duty to their accounts, to their schools. And I don't think they're going to go for just gifting it. That wouldn't be appropriate from their perspective. So, we have to take that into account. But they have to take into account that we are very small. And our foundation has very few assets. And we are breaking new territory statewide with the effort to get the foundation to borrow money from the New Mexico Finance Authority. So it could easily be that the New Mexico Finance Authority ends up deciding by saying, hey, X is all we're going to lend you. And if they do that, we go to the school board and say, hey, X is all we have because we have got 0 savings.
Thank you, Harry. And I feel the inclination to share more information, and due to the public nature of this meeting and the active fluid negotiations, I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay, just to have some experiential ed highlights. Since the last time we met, backpacking has been completed, which is really fun and cool to see that come with really no concerns. So that was awesome. And all of the other experiential ed pieces are moving along as they should. YCC internships, we heard about the senior restoration projects. It's all good stuff there. Middle school at Camp Thunderbird this week. They have another one next week, and all of their Friday things are moving along as they should.
they have another camp out.
Yep. So half the middle school goes this week, half the middle school goes next week. I completed observations on all of the high school teachers since our last governing council meeting. I think that's the first time that's been done at Aldo in maybe 5 years, which is really cool to see. It was really awesome to be in the classroom a little more. So that was another highlight and a good piece of our curriculum and instructional development. Funding, this is sort of the piece that Harry and Jackie we're all kind of tiptoeing around this fact, and I'll say it here, the details of this are unknown, but it seems like due to the rapidly decreasing enrollment at Silver Consolidated School District, in which Aldo is within those boundaries, that we will become eligible for the small school adjustment again for 2026, 2027. And that will give us a significant, meaning direct and vague, a significant financial buffer to fund a lot of the things that we have been sort of surviving for quite a while. And that's extremely helpful. And I'm not gonna, as I've said this to other members of the administrative team, I'm not gonna count the chickens before they hatch, but I am gonna have a bigger coop for them if they come.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
Excuse my ignorance
please.
on this. So just an observation, one thing, so when we first moved here, Opportunity High was still available as an option for students in Silver.
Like SHOS.
Yeah, it was where, they have childcare
Right. Early
there
childhood.
now, right? And then something happened and it went away, and I heard that it was being absorbed in high school or something. At the time that it went away, I noticed a change in the enrollment at Aldo because families didn't have any options. Aldo and Opportunity High serve very different, have very different goals and outcomes and all of that stuff. And so I'm wondering, is there an opportunity to capitalize also on that, right? We're serving a population of student that if there had been another option for them, they might have chosen something different. And so so these students don't necessarily, or at least this is my observation, they're not necessarily buying into the charter. Their families didn't decide to come here because of the charter, right? They chose to come here because there's no other option. And Silver High is not working, or the Silver schools. So I don't know how you leverage that. I don't know if there's an opportunity to, but it almost seems like maybe there's something there, like we're serving a larger population than perhaps the charter originally intended.
I agree. And how do we capitalize on that is a question that remains to be answered. And I also think that from a certain perspective, we are bound by our open enrollment public school nature. And so I agree that is my experience as well. I think with some I think having a new facility creates some space for meeting everyone's needs in a superior way than we do now.
Yeah.
And that's what I will say, and I think that you understand what I'm saying. Ann, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
Huh? I'm sorry, I had a question for Tanya about what she said. You said it in the context of a small school size adjustment discussion, but were you mostly thinking about the opportunity as being the facility?
No, I was thinking, not necessarily just the facility. I mean, that is a piece of it, but I'm thinking also about the small school adjustment, right? So when Opportunity High closed, were those students meant to be absorbed into Silver? So then they count towards Silver, and so Silver gets the credit for them. That's not happening.
Interestingly, they always counted towards Silver. That was not technically a different school. They never got small school funding for them, even at Opportunity School.
Right, but then they went to Alpha.
But then and it's just an observation. I've not done any studies on this, right? My observation is though, that some of those students without that option decided to come here. Some of those families came here. And so I just don't know how that, like, I don't know enough about the funding formula and how the funding works to know if there's a potential to capitalize on filling needs that we didn't expect there to be when Aldo first came into existence. Does that help, Harry? It's not necessarily a space thing or facilities thing. It's bigger than, it's more. Will you help me?
Well, for me, I mean, capitalize is, I feel like, a nice word for it. For me, it would be adapt. How do we adapt for what comes to Aldo, whether that feels like a choice or not, open enrollment. I attended Aldo, and there were absolutely times, and I'm sure it has been felt in different phases of the school, where the demographic and population shifted, and there were pockets of students or groups that felt they didn't belong somewhere else, or had been expelled, or told there is not an option for you to come here anymore, you have to go somewhere else, and came to Aldo. And they did not align necessarily with the mission. They hadn't read the mission and vision and said, yep, this is the place for me. It was the only option to have to still attend school. And that absolutely shifted the classroom culture and communities. And so then how do we adapt knowing that may come to us over the years?
And where's the money?
Silver schools.
Where's the money to support that?
Right.
Where's the money to support that the Aldo charter is this big and we're serving students with ideas that are this big? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like about school. Anyway, so that
I agree completely, and that's one of the most difficult pieces of this year's operation of Aldo is we have this. I mean, we have such a spectrum of students' ability and interest and buy-in and experience and demographic, which is really beautiful and really cool. But we have such limited resources
Yeah.
to meet all of those students where they are at, and that is why I feel very strongly that all those best days are yet to come. Especially as it relates to this potential facility acquisition and the potential increase in funding, both of which, if facilitated correctly, will improve the experience for everyone.
Yeah.
Those students on either end of the margin, the super Aldo aligned outdoor experiential student and the student who is here because it is the perception or maybe the reality, this is the only choice, will both be able to have their needs met at a higher
Yeah.
level
Yeah.
because it is no longer lowest common denominator programming. It is now more curtailed to where people are at, and we will have the room to spread
Right.
things out and give people the space for where they're at. I mean, that's
Yeah.
one of the most significant disruptive problems to Aldo currently.
Is is
It was-
space.
The facility, the space and the staffing for our student population, it doesn't line up. And so that requires everyone to sort of twist themselves into a pretzel to make it work.
Right.
And if we continue to persevere, I see a light at the
Yeah.
end of the tunnel that will increase the efficacy of the experience for everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited about that.
Excellent.
I was gonna save this comment for at the end of the meeting, but it's probably more pertinent right now. We spoke briefly at the last meeting about opening up a second section of sixth grade.
Yeah, we will do
And-
that for sure.
Are you talking about for next year?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I know it means $20,000 more for small school, for reimbursement for the building, right? I think that it was right from 150 to 170. Okay, so, okay.
Yeah, that's definitely in the plans, is if, assuming that the acquisition works out, we'll have the space and we have the charter capacity to serve 2 6th grade classes, and that's the one area of growth, and I agree. I have felt the inclination, and Harry and I have talked about this to a certain degree of, Jose Barrios, the charter could be as big as 300 students, but then at a certain point, you have diminishing, it's this balance between diminishing returns and alignment to the core of what Aldo is and reaching the financial threshold of sustainability. And so that's where the small school adjustment comes in and gives us the flexibility to stay closer on staying true to the mission and vision and meeting all the students where they're at without having to overextend ourselves, which we are now to a certain degree, in order to remain financially viable, because each student enrollment is lease reimbursement, is SEG funding for teachers, and
Yep.
per the business report, I mean, you can see that the margins are not huge. I mean, it is extremely tight currently, and that's why I understand, I don't want to jinx the small school adjustment, but I will just say it's there because that will give us the cushion. Aaron, what do you think?
Yeah, I wanted to kind of amend what I said previously, that my perspective maybe sounded a little bit negative of students coming from other school systems because it didn't feel like the right space for them, or because they didn't feel like they had another option, and reflecting that I'm sure there have been times, well, I know that Aldo has offered opportunity to kids that they never would have had before. The ability to go backpacking
Yep.
for a student or, child, teenager who did not grow up in an environment or with the resources or the wherewithal or the comfort to go outdoors, and getting that is amazing and incredibly powerful, and maybe change their life, and their trajectory of what they are capable of. I also know there are groups of families and people who would ideally like to pick and choose and say, this part of your mission or plan
Mhm.
is for me, but we actually don't feel comfortable with this, or how to meet that need
Mhm.
also
Mhm.
of, we came here because we weren't comfortable with A, B, and C over here, but we also are feeling this, and you can't please everyone, and you can't, all the things like, but how do we meet also that group's needs and inquiry about wanting to be at Aldo, still valuing the mission and vision of this.
I'm glad
Aaron.
to hear that space is one of the things you're thinking of as a opportunity to like stop being so bumping off from each other and not getting things done. And so that space is gonna relieve a lot of that pressure, because, not sitting in the school all the time. I mean, I understand like it helps to have space, but how instrumental it is in being able to serve all the students that we have here.
Yeah, I think it will be significant improvement for the student and staff experience.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Karen.
Harry has his hand up. Look at that, using the.
Look at that. Thanks. I didn't know for sure you could see that. I just wanted to say a couple things. One, Aaron, I thought that was beautifully said. Thank you very much. That was excellent. And am I gonna forget the other one? I really am foggy. The other one came first. Arg. Sorry. Oh, I know what it was. Will mentioned the possibility of a second sixth grade session. I guess Jim asked. You all should know that that came up in our conversation with Will Hawkins and Ashley Montenegro at Silver Schools. We told them, maybe I told them, that that was certainly my desire that we would start that second section. It's currently allowed in our charter. It's called for in our charter. So no amendment would be required. And that's very much what I'm hoping we're able to do at Jose Barrios also.
Just a couple more things.
Starting to list off.
I know. Okay, so one thing, we did, like at the last meeting, we said, go ahead, write that letter. That letter when,
Yep.
I'm just circling back around just to make sure, check.
Yeah,
Okay,
so that's why now we are.
that's
in-
why you're in
And
negotiations.
we're in,
Okay,
and I
gotcha.
will say, we're in negotiations, we're in a sort of informal negotiation. We're
Yep.
not like.
Right, gotcha,
And that is because that's more productive.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep, no, totally. Just want to make sure that letter, I don't know,
Yep.
I'm just,
Can happen.
due diligence.
And
Yeah,
that's part of like this is, like that letter is required because of
Right.
legislation that only passed in 2024.
right.
And so we,
I just want to make sure we're box checking, right? I'm trying to help us with box checking. The other thing, so Harry and I were at one of the open forums that Will Hawkins was running to talk about the buildings, right? And all of that. One of the things I heard, and I just want to say it out loud here, is the name is very important to our community. And I think it's a really, really great opportunity for us to connect to community on a level that maybe we have missed before for whatever reasons, right? And so I'm excited to see where that goes. I know Harry got Jose Barrios's daughter's contact information, I think. I don't know if he's still on.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I think that that's like such a great opportunity to really plug into some deep roots.
We talked about that at our facilities committee meeting.
Yeah.
this week.
yeah. And I mean, I have no intention to remove the Jose Barrios name. I think it would be something like, you see this in a lot of higher education institutions of the Aldo Leopold Charter School at Jose Barrios
Right.
or something like that.
Right, and they talked about, a plaque or a memorial space, or like somehow also memorializing legacy, right, with maybe a lesson, it fits right in with what Aldo does as far as,
Totally.
learning about our history, right, and our culture here in this community, so.
I attended Jose Barrios in elementary and it was a big deal back then too. The history of it was the.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm excited about that part of it
Yeah.
as well.
I think it's really cool. I intend to respect that to the highest level.
Harry has his hand up again.
Little hand Harry.
Sorry. It's worth noting that Bart Rosselli of the Silver City Museum offered to help us figure out appropriate ways, not just to keep the name, but also to keep the information about who he was and why he was important to the community. So we should keep that in mind as we move forward as well.
Okay, I'm gonna move on. We had talked about staffing a bit in some of the governing council meetings so far during this academic year, as it is my perception, I think would be confirmed by anyone who you would ask, that we have some higher special ed needs, and I see a curricular instructional need for some math improvements and potential overhauls as is the state as a whole, or, we are not achieving above and beyond when it comes to math. And so because of that, we have, I'm not gonna, with no names being said, Jackie and I have done some creative financial moving things around to have more EA support for special ed in the middle school and to have more math support in the afternoons at the high school. And that has been a huge improvement.
What is the support that the EAs are getting in math that the teacher, that the staff is not on their own?
So in math, there's a few things. One, we have such a variety of students that come from homeschool environments, come from Silver, come from Cobra, come from whatever, that a lot of the prerequisite skills maybe don't exist. And you don't have the capacity to, it comes back to this piece of not being able to meet every student where they're at. And we have a math support individual who is extremely talented and energetic and passionate about this kind of thing. And they have been doing small group math, sort of supporting catch-up work to get everyone up to speed and make sure they, at the minimum, reach their graduation requirements as set out by the state in House Bill 171. And down the road, assuming that the funding works through, I intend to continue to reinforce that, as that is our significant academic deficit. We are, we are a spotlight school due to ELA largely and science, because our experiential ed aligns naturally with that environment. We have super strong, passionate teachers with large consistency. P. Rankin, who is here, that's a good example of that kind of thing. And so that all works really well. Yeah.
Are the staff and students in support of the math curriculum that's taught?
It's a mixed bag.
Uh-huh.
It's a mixed bag. The curriculum that had been used in the past, and Jim or Harry might have a better representation of this, was an integrated math curriculum. And that was tricky for meeting the state requirements, because if you want to follow an Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2 formula, that gets a little blurry. And while the integrated math had a really awesome experiential component and really great activities and things associated with it, it didn't align with what the state needed necessarily. And so we are using illustrative mathematics right now, which is largely based on an online software system. And it's sort of, yeah, I would just say a mixed bag of staff feedback and student feedback.
Online.
Staff, student, and family feedback are all like, it kind of works, sort of, but it's not quite it yet. And so part of the observations has been, bless you, has been having that dialogue of, okay, what could we do better? What could we do different? And I did reach out to Tanya this morning as another, like, hey, how can we make this work better? And it's sort of like the degrading piece where I see this is a multi-year improvement plan for math. The ELA, it's not broken, so I don't need to go fix it, but math definitely needs the attention.
When you say illustrative, okay, math, is an online platform, does that mean the students are on a computer doing it, or the teacher
there are work
follows the curriculum?
but it's largely based on,
Okay.
yeah, which is.
And so then what is the teacher's role in that?
So, I mean, I would think of it like this. The computer is essentially the textbook, and everything else would be the same.
Okay.
So you would still conduct the same lesson on here's the Pythagorean theorem, and then the resources are on the computer, the work is submitted on the computer, but pencil and paper are still used.
Okay.
I will say, and also full disclosure, I'm new to illustrative mathematics, and my experience on it is that it's, a mixed success. And I am working very hard to improve math, and it's, again, a multi-year journey. Little hand Harry.
So just a couple of corrections. I think one of them is important. The unimportant one is that the program was called Interactive Mathematics Program. And yes, it was an integrated mathematics program. And two, the important one is there are state standards, both for the AGA sequence that you referred to and for integrated math. So meeting state standards, I don't believe it ever came into consideration about what program to choose. Results and teacher preferences, I think, did come in.
In fact, it was called for some years, Harry, integrated math. That was the name of the course, and it was also the
Yeah.
name of the math program we used after, well, actually between bookends of interactive mathematics. I never really, I never really bought the arguments against integrated math programs. I felt like that was more, that was something that maybe some staff who'd come from public schools felt like we needed to follow that because it was difficult and challenging for students who entered outside of our program. But if you went through 3 to 4 years of our program of integrated math, I didn't find that a problematic situation.
I wanted to add something too. Speaking of the state, this EA support that we have, we are totally compliant. All of our EAs are New Mexico PED compliant. We all have their level 3 license.
That's awesome. Very cool.
Last year, I think, out of all of us, I think maybe like 2 people have. So
Good.
and in order to get that, you have to take a pretty extensive test.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Very cool.
Just wanted to throw that in.
That's a good addition. Thank you.
Yeah.
And while we're on positive academic considerations, Aldo is the recipient of one of the inaugural Spark Change Awards for academic excellence, due to our experiential ed and special education success. It was in the newspaper. If you look closely, you'll see that we were the only school in all of Southwest New Mexico to receive that, which is pretty awesome. Yes, so that's a good highlight there as well. I'm glad you mentioned compliance. I don't have a nice lovely bullet point on here for compliance, but it will come up later on when Harry brings up the PEC compliance component. So far, we have all of our teachers are either fully licensed or on a path to get the additional endorsements needed, like little things like pass the praxis to get a health endorsement, teach a health section. And from our charter renewal in 2025, we are on a PEC fiscal improvement plan, which we have been completing with diligence. Thank you, Jackie.
Yes.
Thank you, Harry.
Yeah.
Even when Harry's in
Yeah,
Mexico,
Will's-
he's been helpful ensuring
We'll
our
just
compliance with
repeatedly
that. That will come up later on.
do
But
something.
I'm gonna chug through this because I'm taking too much time here.
Any chance I
Yes,
could-
haunted house is
little bit.
tomorrow.
Don't have to right now.
Are you gonna make me mute you?
But if you need it right now.
Sorry about that.
I know.
You're lucky.
It's like what?
You're lucky. I was gonna do it to you. All right, thank you, Harry. Haunted houses tomorrow. If you'd like, that's a fundraiser for the drama club trip to
It's
Eastern New Mexico. Tomorrow and Saturday night. Tomorrow it's from 6 to 8, and Saturday it is from, I don't want to say it wrong, but I want to say 5 to 9:30. And then during the day on Saturday is a fundraiser for the yearbook. The yearbook fundraiser is games and stuff down at the Rock Garden area, just to the north of our school, and the haunted house is obviously inside.
In here.
Yep. Cost $5 to participate for the general public. And those are the 2 pieces there. I'm sure there's more. I could go on, but I won't. I just wanted to share this is one of the cool photos from the completion of one of the groups at the backpacking trip. And if you have not spent much time in the Gila National Forest lately, this is at the Sapio group campground, and look at all of those green ponderosa pines. So the whole forest did not burn down, much to some people's confusion. There are large sections that are intact, including a lot of the sort of Rio Mimbres drainage. So it's cool. All right. Stop my share here. And we'll go back to our regularly scheduled agenda programming.
Right. Well, we're on to committee reports on the agenda, and we got policy and risk management done, so that leaves, do you have the list of committees? You can just run down them. I can say something
I'll pull
about,
them up.
okay, I can say something about curriculum
Okay.
while we're there. I know I missed a curriculum meeting, but I do know that the committee put out, I'm looking for it so I can show you. I just had it. The graduate profile. Yes, and so it looks like this. Yes. If you could, sorry, Harry. I mean, we have it somewhere. Oh, I think I put it in the folder in our meeting folder for today. If we wanted to share it, but I thought they talked a lot about it. In one of the meetings I went to, we talked a lot about the leadership piece, right? And what to, like, how to incorporate that. all of that, and I think that it's done really well. I can't remember what it says about leadership. It's like something about conscientious or something like that, right?
Active, oh no, it's learners.
There's some leaders.
I don't see the word leaders. I see learners. Multiple.
Well, there was
times.
leaders in there.
Reflective learners and open-minded.
Oh,
learners.
well, there you go. Resilient, open-minded leaders is what I read. Never mind. They talked a lot about leaders and how to, if leaders were if leader was gonna end up in there.
Just to
he
give
was
their-
And make the
posting
cut.
leaders.
Right.
Anyway,
I think it should be,
Active,
but that's
reflective
like the
leaders.
C's, it needs more.
Those could be.
yeah, resilient, open-minded leaders. That's what I was like, oh, that was a nice way to put it, but sorry, everyone.
Okay, I'm sharing it here. You can see it. The general public can see it. It will be out there. And this was submitted as part of the compliance for House Bill 171. And our 2 courses unique to Aldo for graduation requirements are CO, community orientation for freshmen, and internship. So that's cool.
Who made that flyer?
It was many hands in the
Yep.
pot.
It's great. Love it.
Okay, let's go back to committees. So that's probably good for curriculum committee. That was a significant project there.
Yeah.
Restorative practices meets every other month. I don't know if we had a good report on this last time, but it's continuing to work on our restorative documentation record keeping. So the middle school is running a restorative pilot project of sorts. When they are collecting all the data on the outcomes of that, and the high school, we also are collecting data in a way that has not been done for our behavioral management as well. And that's been very helpful. And especially when it comes to students with IEPs and VIPs, and having the digital record that can go into Power School and then is viewed by the state so that we stay in compliance. One of those things that had been done organically in the past and now has just a little bit more structure to it. So if you want to know student behavior if you want to know X student's behavior on Y day, you can just pull it up and you'll see. Here's what happened, here's the report, and here was the outcome, here's the consequence. Just good record keeping, tracking for down the road. And it will be one of these pieces where I think when we have the money in the space to, again, meet people where they're at. Let's see, there's more committees, but
Facilities met,
Oh,
their
facility.
second meeting, earlier this week, and basically it was, an update from Will on where things stand, but I felt like it was a thorough and useful meeting, and, we're anticipating things getting more exciting in the coming months.
and I think for governing council perspectives, this is worthwhile to look at as a reminder of what we are all signed up for.
Mhm.
Does anyone have any questions on what committee they are associated? Oh, I have a SAC update too.
Actually, do have a question. I'm on Shack, but what else? am
Okay. Cheryl.
I? And Shack, every time the meeting has been or has changed, I have been out of town or not. I have not been able to keep it.
Audit. You're on audit and Shack. Nice choices. Nice choices.
His choices foisted upon.
It does appear that, I have faculty meetings that are overlapping. It's the 3rd Thursdays that I'm having a hard time with. And I should have probably noted that when I signed up for these, that 3rd Thursday at 4.
Okay.
I have faculty meetings on Thursday, the 3rd Thursday at 4. Is it the 3rd Thursday? Sometimes it's the 2nd.
Okay,
Sometimes it's
so
the second one. I'm having trouble. So can I observe this next month and see where the trouble is and then come back to the committee and say, okay, this is where I'm having trouble?
okay,
Because I'm having it doesn't seem consistent. Like that faculty meeting is not on the 3rd Thursdays, it's on the 2nd Thursdays. This is it. It's the 2nd Thursday after the 1st Tuesday so that Senate can meet first. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's what happens. And so then sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. So I just need to confirm.
okay, if you're interested, and we can chat more about this now, but I do want to keep the meeting rolling along. If you want to join SAC, that would be welcome.
Okay. Gotcha.
This committee the members of this committee does need to be updated as SAC. Following one of my monthly newsletters, I had a parent sign up. We have many new parents on SAC, and SAC, I also want to change the name of, because it's a parent teacher, SAC and Shack, it's just it's two. They're too similar.
Mm.
Anyway.
I'd be interested in joining and going to one and see.
Tanya, would you be interested in potentially swapping to that?
Sure.
I think
Yeah,
that
think-
is an area that definitely, this committee is pretty important.
Okay.
I'll say question mark for now, and I will invite you both to the next one, and
Okay.
we'll see how it goes.
Okay,
That committee is shifting its role. In the past, it was resource development, and resource development has been outsourced to the foundation primarily, so it was too much. And now SAC is largely based around supporting the teachers of the school with things like Teacher Appreciation Week and like
Mhm.
acquiring school supplies and things like that, and they get their funding from the foundation, and SAC just does the work of getting the stuff and delivering it. Allison Phillips has sent out
My-
a sort of staff of what the needs are. I'm gonna finish my monologue here, Harry, and then I'll let you come in. And we're working on having more consistency and tradition of events. So like in the fall, there will be a family welcome picnic, and in the spring, there will be a student highlight picnic of here's all of the great things we've done, come celebrate, have a fun time. One of which will be out probably at Jose Barrios / the Waterworks facility, and the other one will be at the Zocalo. Harry, go ahead, sorry.
Don't be sorry at all. I raised the hand not knowing when it's appropriate. or when it will be. Two things. Name School Advisory Council is in statute, and we might want to ask around about changing it. I would guess it's okay to change it, but I would also guess it could cause confusion. I don't know. And B, we really need our committee lists on Outlook to be updated. Every time I try to email a specific committee, I have to go in and adjust the membership. If someone could get on it, I would appreciate it.
And then I have a question. The shack is supposed to meet the first Tuesday at 4. That is election day. Do you think they will meet on that day?
I doubt it. We do not have school on that day.
Okay, I'm just wondering like when and how often that changes. And if it wouldn't be that day, when do you think it would?
That's a great question. I don't know.
I think if you go.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's Mark Gomez is the chair of
Okay.
that committee, and he does the scheduling for it. And obviously, it's become apparent to anyone who's part of any committee here that due to breaks, school trips, there's a lot of moving for that. And so if you're on a committee, you have to have your dancing shoes on. Move around quite a bit. Okay, that does it for me. Committees.
Other committee reports, that's it, we
That's
went,
all of them.
got them all,
That's all.
okay. All right, old business, reschedule the GC finance training. Barry, was that you, do you have some ideas about when that needs to be, or?
Yeah, that is me, not because I have ideas of when it needs to be, but because I completely spaced out that I committed to do it on a certain date. And I apologize to those of you who were looking forward to that. This is the one piece of our Public Education Commission compliance that we are out of compliance with. We're supposed to get this done. So, no, I'm looking to you all, hopefully, to discuss and come up with another date.
How soon? I mean, is this ASAP because we're out of compliance, or do we have a deadline, or?
No, we really don't. I mean, I would say in general, the sooner the better, but nothing is going to happen anytime fast in terms of them getting on our case, I don't believe.
So like next week, is that what we're looking for? Time next week?
Purely government.
What was that?
Next week, can we
Yeah.
do?
Then I heard something else, but yeah, next week works for me.
How
Most-
long is the training?
I think we talked about doing an hour.
Thank you.
And And just, things that we'll be discussing include what Tanya brought up. She's not really clear about how the funding works and how it changes with students and stuff like that. So that will definitely be part of it.
What do we got, team?
I have next Thursday, I'm available.
That facilities negotiation is at 11, right? That Thursday.
Yes, 11
11
a.m.
o'clock I have.
Right, it would have to be after work.
So
So could we do
something like 4:30
5:30?
on the 30th, 5:30?
There
Either
is-
of those is fine with me.
Yeah, there's a curriculum committee meeting next Thursday, from 4 to 5, so I would prefer 5:30 so that I could uphold my obligation to that committee.
Okay, I could do that.
You got it.
Okay, I've got it.
Okay, put it on my calendar. Right, okay. Oh, no. Finance training,
And we're gonna do it in the common room?
may we? Can we? Can we use this room
What's the
at
time?
5:30?
Absolutely.
Okay.
5:30, you're clear.
Beautiful, thank you.
5:30 on the 30th,
Oh, that's the 30th.
is that not gonna work?
I don't know why I had it on the 6th, but like my calendar, I had already moved to November, sorry. No, I think it will. I
Okay,
have a billion things during the day, but after it should be okay.
5:30 GC finance training. Okay, everybody got it on their calendars?
It is.
Yep.
Okey dokey. Save. New business. Review PEC compliance requirements.
I am without my list of those, unfortunately, here at home. I don't know if Will wants to go over them, or really all I think I wanted to accomplish was to let you all know that besides that governing council training, we are in compliance with that list. So all the boxes have been checked off.
Okay. All right. So, one question, I like signed up for all my little online training so I could be all in compliance, and then I had to miss one because I went backpacking. They come around again, yeah? I shall just check my email, or do you know which ones I'm talking about? Like somebody sent a whole big list of like, here's all the,
I have one copy, you can look at it and pass it around. Really, I just needed a bubbly bar.
yeah, they'll come around again. It's not really a question. I'm just reassuring myself that I didn't goof up too badly.
But,
And actually, I didn't goof up, because you can't be in two places at once, and I picked the more important spot, and that's that, not a goof up.
Tanya, I would encourage you to email Missy Brown.
Okay,
She's really good about getting back to you and keeping track of trainings.
Melissa Brown, there she is.
Yep.
Okay. There it is. Okay, thank you. Start even, I was on it, in July I was on it. I am no longer.
Yeah, that was a long time.
It was a long time. Other item, do we need any other discussion about compliance requirements or reviewing compliance requirements, or do we need to take action on this in any sort of way?
No, we do not need to take action, and I don't think we need any other discussion.
Okay, perfect. So bars, there is one, we have one.
There is one bar, and this is bar, and it's initial budget of $44,000 from the one I had just mentioned earlier for Ed Fellows program to pay one of our EAs. And that money is given to us, and I just want to put it in the budget.
I move that we approve bar, what's the number?
Bar number 8.
I move that we approve bar number 8.
I second the motion.
Excellent. So we have a motion to approve bar 8 and a second. Any questions or comments or discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor of approving bar 8? Excellent. Nays? Abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay. We're at the GC input part of the agenda. What do we got? Team?
Just a quick question are things going well with Windborne Wellness? That's it's an addition to.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing with Windborne Wellness is really all we have done is created an opportunity for students that are interested in doing. Beyond that, it sort of operates itself.
Okay.
And there's no form of, it's not like. Yeah, I think my initial sentence describes it well enough.
So no feedback from parents or students that's.
Nope, other than it's a free service. Any student who wants to get
Okay.
counseling, we just connect them with them and they can come to the school and do the counseling. As long as it's not disruptive and it makes sense. And that has been occurring on a small scale with some students. And that's, they are protected by their HIPAA and FERPA rights. And so I will say no more.
I'm curious if I can ask, how things went today with things
Oh.
that happened in the community and
Yeah.
response and just.
Yeah, and part of that, so I was, Silver decided to close their school today due to a potential threat. And Mr. Will Hawkins, Heidi, and myself, we discussed this in the morning, and Aldo is in no way involved in that situation of any kind. There's nothing to do with us other than our relative geographic proximity to the institution that was specifically named. And again, I'm not going to name that specific school, but since the Montessori school, Calvary Christian, Aldo, and Cobre, all of the Cobre schools were not involved in any way. We all decided to have school. I made the error of not sending a thing out to all parents to sort of calm their anxiety early enough, of which I take full responsibility and accountability for. I did eventually send one out at about 10 a.m. Really, that probably should have been done like by 7 when that was decided. I will say it happened kind of quick in the morning, and I'm going to censor myself, but more information was revealed to me as the head administrator here that offered a significant reassurance that I felt comfortable with. And I did take the actions of immediately reaching out to Eddie Flores, who's in charge of the WMU police, and said, hey, due to this, can you make sure that you have extra supervision and surveillance of our school today? We have students out at Camp Thunderbird as is, and we're going to continue operations as normal with extra vigilance and communication and cooperation with service schools as needed. But we are not, it didn't know what you, again, the only connection that Aldo had to this was our geographic proximity. And I think the biggest error on our end is I did not offer the reassurance to parents soon enough. And so that was a learning moment for me for sure. And there's also a good practice for our like winter weather communication, of which all of the schools in Grant County, we, communicate and make a collaborative decision on that, so that a lot of families have children in Silver Elementary schools and students in Aldo High School. And so that way there's this sense of we're all on the same page. And I did speak with Will Hawkins this afternoon, and I have not spoken to Mr. Randy Piper at Cobre or Heidi Pendleton at the Montessori school for a debrief on it. But I think we all had our own experience of how can we make the communication to the entire community smoother, because we all have our own interfaces for that, whether it's ParentSquare or Silver uses Facebook quite a bit or whatever that might be. It did not help today that our social media communication person was at Camp Thunderbird. And I do not have any social media. I detest social media. If society would be a better place, and that's my personal opinion without social media. However, I understand its value as a communication device. And so that's as comprehensive of a response to that question as I think I can provide.
Yeah, it seems difficult to express or represent that you are in cohesion or alignment with other schools or, consolidated or independent and have your own policies. And so the like clarification to parents or community members or staff or whatever of we align with them or follow Silver schools or whatever in this instance, but in this instance, we follow our own protocol, whatever. And just how it seems like something like this is a good opportunity of how that can be made clearer. And you cannot please everyone, and you are going to communicate as best you can, and there's still going to be hiccups and whatever, but just how to show to the broader community that you are on the same page, that communication is clear, that you're aware of, yada yada, and for these reasons, whatever you're able to share, that you stand by this. And yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a great learning opportunity and yeah, again, for the public record, I take full accountability and responsibility for the delay in my community. I think it was 10 by the time I sent the thing out, and there were other factors at play, but that doesn't matter because I don't want it to come across as like excuses or defensiveness. That's like solely on me and my own learning curve around that. And so I want also the record to state that, you know, I take these risks and all school safety extremely seriously. And I understand that there may be some historical perceptions of Aldo as being potentially casual when it comes to things like risk management. And that is not the mindset in which I operate. And I want to make that very clear for the future moving forward, that Silver, Cobre, Calvary Christian, Guadalupe Montessori School, and all the Leopold Charter School, the primary schools in Grant County, are all in communication as much as possible, and it's always room for improvement. I did speak to a handful of parents today about this thing as well, and if anyone would like to chat further, I'm absolutely open to that, for sure.
Might it be a good idea to have a little, I don't know how you get it out to the general public, letter to the editor, something that's like, I really appreciate how well all of our schools communicate in, you know, in these times when we're feeling like we're islands, right? We are really together in this and educating our children and blah do. Because as a parent, I didn't know how much communication the schools do. I mean, I did because I'm friends with that, whatever. But most people don't know how much communication is happening between the schools, the heads of schools at the various places, and it might make the community at large feel kind of like grand about it, grand about like the communication and what's going on.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just it's like PR, you know?
Yep, I agree completely, and I think more will come on that front, especially as the facilities piece moves forward.
Yeah.
And there is all of this entities that I mentioned, all of the head administrators from those do meet once a month formally. And yeah, there is still room for improvement in that area. And at the same time, it's hard to have a clear square policy on this because oftentimes there are situations that might be going on in Cobre that it's actually inappropriate for Aldo to share with parents because all it would do is sow more anxiety. It's so irrelevant and it might even make things more complicated. And in this situation today, that was not one of those. And while law enforcement was doing their own investigation and there was no deemed safety risk for any of the other schools in the area, that's the piece that should have been communicated sooner. And while it was a matter of timing on that one. And clarity for all involved is definitely.
And also as a parent, it's also nice for me to be able to tell my kid, right? So now I'm having conversations with my kid about what happened. I don't know what she knows. It might be nice to know that, oh no, all the schools talked about it. You're all safe. I mean, I can imagine that there were some children who were anxious and so the parents are reacting because of their kids' anxiety because they're all friends too, right? And they're all talking to each other. And so it does help for the parents to know, I am connected to this pool of adults. We adults, we got this, guys, right? Like, and so that kind of is all. So to that end, were the kids at Aldo having any, like, were your Aldo students chattering, or were they feeling anxious? They were business as usual, everybody was cool?
Say primarily business as usual with a small minority of exceptions.
Yeah.
That were all based around the parents and the parents'
Okay,
friend group.
and they were starting to
Yeah.
get off.
It was evidence where the different parent
Yeah.
friend
Got
groups
you.
were and how that sort of concern
Mm,
spread.
yeah.
And it's also, and I want this to be clear to all the students as well, of your actions on social media have significant consequences,
Right.
and this is not something.
Oh, yeah, I'd explain that to
joke
my
about.
husband. I had to explain that to my. Yeah, he's like, they can't just say things. I'm like, they cannot just say things. He's like, they're just saying things. I was like, well,
I
I'm
mean, you
sorry.
can, and they're,
They're.
Well,
I
you
mean,
can, and due to the environment in which we all exist in our society currently, they will be handled seriously.
Yeah.
In the case of you saw a school district with just under 2,000 students,
Right.
shut down all of their schools for remote learning today.
Right,
And,
there you go.
I'm not gonna disclose more information.
No, I know, I
but
get
just
it, yeah,
Let the record state that.
Yeah.
Please, with the social media stuff, like be
Yeah.
mindful.
yep.
And it doesn't even have to be formal, it can be informal, like you just be chatting and say,
Yeah.
because somebody will hear them and
oh, yeah.
it goes
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah. Well, and, I mean, I appreciated, my kids in NDI, and that was, you know, they responded as well, but for a family who may not be connected in other ways or have been communicated with, to then be, communicated via NDI organization to get an email saying, due to the threat on yada yada, we will be canceling for
Mhm.
the day, is then there are families of like, what?
Yeah,
What is,
what's
why
going
is my kid
Yeah,
not person?
yeah,
And,
yeah.
and just, yeah, there's, I mean, we are a small community, everyone, the degrees of separation are negative, really. And it influences and impacts everyone, and yeah, just be aware of it.
Yep. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. So that's important. Yeah.
Other input, cheesy input.
Before we leave, I need. to
I've got-
discuss Something, this is the conflict of interest
Sure.
form, and this is gonna be sent out to the auditor, so before you guys leave, I need a signature.
Quick Hand Harry has a comment.
We had told Jim that we would discuss the no ice poster. And I forgot that until now. I don't believe this requires an action. I think we could, if we're ready, we could just tell Will what our feeling is about what he should do with the request. But if you all think it should be an actual action, I guess we'll have to put it on next month's agenda.
I would favor putting it on the November agenda, Harry.
Okay, thanks. Sorry that it didn't make this one.
It's okay.
Thanks for remembering that, Harry. Appreciate it.
Wish I'd done it earlier.
Anything else?
One
Next-
question. Yes. Next, that meeting,
5:30.
5:30.
Yeah.
On that date.
Yeah.
No adjustments.
No bar gates.
Any objections?
Mm-mm.
Overruled.
I think I already have it.
Okay, so that is,
5:30 on the
I'm sorry, what?
Thursday, November 13th at 5:30.
Okay.
That's one of those second Tuesdays after the first Thursdays where there's a faculty meeting, but we'll be done by 5, or I'll just leave.
Right, there.
I'm just done.
Okay.
Thank you, Tanya, for handling the meeting.
Yeah, thanks for, yeah. The confidence, the vote of confidence in asking me to do it, it's fine. This is the easy part.
I had no doubt whatsoever.
Awesome.
All right, so we need a motion to adjourn, that's what we're waiting on.
I move that we adjourn the meeting. You don't
Okay.
really-
I second.
Excellent, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Excellent,
6:20.
great.
All right. Thank you all. Appreciate your flexibility.